The practice log in PolyNome is where you see what you've been working on. There are various ways of viewing the practice log. First of all, let's look in the menu and tap practice log. By default, this filters to viewing everything with a full BPM range and full date range. You can see a summary down here, the last event logged and when it was logged and the tempos played. All events logged with the dates and the tempo range. And then events logged today versus yesterday, this 7 days versus previous 7 days, this 30 days versus the previous 30 days, and this year versus the previous year. And on the left, you can see an arrow telling you whether you've done more or less practice in this period versus the previous period. Then you can tap on practice report and view a summary report, detailed report, or only events with notes. I'll go into more details on that later. And then there are some more statistics below that. If you swipe left, you can view the time spent versus tempo, and you can group by 5 BPM or 10 BPM ranges. And you can choose whether to sort by tempo, ascending or descending, or the total time spent, ascending or descending. If you swipe left again, you will see all of the individual practice events. In the filter area at the top, you can tap where it says everything and choose to filter on just the current preset or the current playlist or presets with the same name as the current preset. So that will show versions within other playlists. Or you can filter by tag and just show presets that are tagged with a certain tag. Or you can exclude a specific tag. Or you can just view daily log notes. By tapping on date range, you can choose to view today, the last 7 days, the last 30 days, last 365 days, or based on filter, which will set the start and end dates based on the earliest and latest dates logged for whatever is filtered on. Or you can tap on the start date or end date to set those directly. You can tap on the BPM range to set that. So we could, for example, only show things between 100 BPM and 400 BPM. And then you can choose to filter by duration. So maybe you only want to view events that are shorter than, for example, 8 seconds. So once you've selected a time, you can tap here and choose shorter than, or all durations, or longer than. So if I show, for example, shorter than 6 seconds, you will see that there are 6,000 plus events, and I can swipe left to the all events page and I can see these. And these are generally parts of playlists which only play for 1 bar or so, or they are count-offs for songs. And maybe I would want to delete those because I'm not interested in them. So let's go back to the main page. Under the play button, you can bring up the quick event editor. This shows you the last practice event logged, and you can tap the trash can to delete it. You can tap the star button if you want to assign a star to that event, or you can tap the notes button to add a note for that event. And you can choose whether to add a note for the selected event, which is the specific event that has been logged, or the daily log, which is like a journal, and you can add to this. So let's tap and choose paste, and that will paste in the last preset that we've played, and I could make a note here. And then tap the X to close. And then let's say I work on the default preset for a second. You'll see when I stop this that a new event is added down here. And I can tap the note, and if I want to add a note to the daily log, you'll see that my previous note is still there. And if I tap and paste, it will paste the name of the playlist and preset that I'm working on. And then I could add a subsequent note here. On the left of the quick event editor, you can tap the timer icon and you can choose what the time will show. So this is a cumulative timer, and you can have it show practice log today, practice logged since we last reset the timer, and you can reset it using this button, or the time since reset. So if I choose time since reset, you will see down here that it's 99 plus hours since I reset the timer. If I choose to view practice log today, you can see I've logged 3 minutes and 45 seconds today. And if I choose practice logged since reset, you'll see I've logged 1 hour, 11 minutes, 9 seconds. If I tap this and choose reset now, this goes to 0. And if we look at time since reset, it's now counting up since the time I reset the button. So we can use this to see how long we've been practicing for since we last set the timer. Finally, in here, you can choose to view the practice log, and this is the same as accessing the practice log through the menu as we did before. If you want to view practice events for the preset that you're currently working on, you can tap the preset name and choose practice log. And this will filter on this preset. So you see now it says current filters are default, and the date range is set to the dates that I have items logged for this preset. You can see I really haven't practiced anything against this default preset. So the reason there was nothing logged for that is because it was a default preset within a playlist. And I've only played this, well, probably not at all actually, but I have practiced against the default preset in other places. So in the practice log, I could tap on here and choose presets named default, and that will give me the statistics for every time I played a preset that was called default. On the playlist page, I can tap the playlist name and show practice log, and this will show me the practice events for all items in that playlist. And if we go back to the presets library, you can choose an item in here, for example, and tap actions and choose view practice log. So that will show me the practice events for this preset. And you can even select multiple items and tap the actions and view practice log. And that will show you the log for this preset plus 4 others. And you can do the same in the playlist manager. So if you go to playlist manager, you can choose multiple items in here and tap the actions button and view practice log. And that will show you all logged events for all items in the selected playlists. So if I go ahead and filter on everything, and I'm going to set the BPM range here from 40 to 300, because that's the tempo range I'm really interested in. I'm going to make sure that I'm viewing all durations here. And then I'll view charts. So you will see here that I can see the time I've spent per day. I can see the time per preset. I can see the time per playlist. And I can see the time per tempo. And I can group those tempos by 10 BPM to get a better view of the ranges that I've worked the most on and the least on. So I haven't done a lot of practice above, say, 170 BPM or down in the 40s and 50s. And here we're viewing all time, but I can choose, for example, the last year, and I can go backwards a year or forwards a year, or I can choose by month, and I can go backwards through the months. So this is a really good way to see what you've been working on. Finally, let's take a look at the practice report. If I view a summary report, what we will see is items with the folder represent playlists, and in the summary report, you will see the playlist name, the tempos worked on, and the total time. If you made notes for any items, they will show up in here, and the daily log notes will show up at the start of each day. At the end of each day, you can see the total time for the day and the total time overall since the start of the report. If we view the detailed report, you will see the title of the playlist at the top and the summary again of the tempos played and the time played for the playlist. And then you will see the breakdown of all of the items within those playlists and the actual time spent. Finally, if we set the date range based on filter, and we view a practice report and choose only events with notes, this will limit us to only events that we added notes for. So here you can see I struggled a little bit with this groove. Here you can see some notes that I added for this preset. And you can print these PDF reports directly from the viewer. So that's the practice log in PolyNome.